You ever been triggered? Triggers are real. They are not something that you're like, how did I feel? Have you ever been triggered where you feel icky in your belly and you can't control things and you want to let loose and you're like, what the heck just happened there? Well, let me tell you, triggers are real. They are not something that you should avoid, but triggers are there to enable you to rise above, not by avoiding them. That was me for a long time. When I was being triggered, I was like forever the smiling clown and going, let me just suppress it. Do not suppress your triggers. You need to understand that you're being triggered, be aware that you're being triggered. And a lot of us, because we fear judgment, what are others going to say, we tend to suppress it. And that's not a good thing long term, because eventually it's going to come out to bite you on the bum. And eventually at some stage you're going to have to deal with it for that reason. And that reason is that it will affect other areas of your life. Avoiding them won't solve the problem because they will come back. But leaning into them is how you can rise above them. So awareness is not a weakness, just saying. It's a positive. So first and foremost, don't suppress them. And how has this come about? Well, recently I was triggered. I don't know if you know that I was burnt a few years back and I was scared of fire, and I'm a burnt survivor, so I'm pretty proud of that. However, I have my little story that comes out from time to time. And even though I have done so much work to become friends with fire, sometimes out of left of center, and it comes out without me realizing. So I was in a situation where I was very close to a outdoor heater that wasn't working. It was literally behind me, and I could feel the person clicking it and the gas bottle not working. And in my head, I'm like, the gas bottle doesn't work. What if it blows up? I'm going to be on fire again. So all of a sudden, all that was coming back to me, and it happens so quickly that I automatically got into stress mode in my head. I didn't look it, but I got into stress mode, and I started to internally hyperventilate because, muscle has memory. All of a sudden, your memory comes back to the fact that feeling of being burnt on fire, feeling the feeling of heat. I was feeling everything, and everything was starting to go from the bottom to up into my head. And I'm like, okay, what is going on now? I'm feeling triggered. What is going on now? I'm feeling triggered. So you can be triggered for a variety of reasons. It can come up as fear, it can come up as anger, it can come up as anxiety, it can come up as comparisonitis, various shapes or form. For me, it was, oh my God, I'm fearing that I'm going to be burnt again, which I know wasn't real, yet in my head, I was being triggered because of being so close. And I'm like, this has happened ages ago. Why am I being triggered? Because somewhere down in my subconscious, it rose up, and I'm like, okay, why is this happening? Why is this happening? So the best thing that you can do when you are feeling triggered, because it will happen, acknowledge the trigger. I am being triggered because of. If you do that, you get your power back. Now, I understood automatically I am being triggered because of, and that's exactly what I said in my head. I am being triggered because of. Now, I then asked myself, is this real? Is this happening? No, it's not real. It is a story that you're telling yourself in your head. However, you need to acknowledge that. It is a story that's probably happened ages ago, and you replay it subconsciously because you haven't dealt with it fully. And inside my gut, something was saying, I'm still feeling this. Why is this coming up? Maybe I need to revisit this. Maybe I need to do some work on this. So triggers are real. Don't suppress them. As women, we're amazing. I'm invincible. That was me forever and a day, right? And that's exactly why I got burnt. I was traveling like a mad woman possessed, did 5 countries in 10 days, couldn't think of, I'm invincible, I'm amazing. No, I'm not, was not. I should have stopped and thought, But no, I did something stupid at home and then ended up, in a hospital for 6.5 weeks and took 6 months off work. And the rest is history. It changed my whole life. That event changed my whole life. And I'm still learning from it. So don't suppress it. However, you can detach from the story of the past. If you can keep on reliving the story and telling yourself that story all the time, that's not working through the triggers. It's replaying that and not getting your power back. If you detach and separate and know, okay, well, I'm being triggered because of, and then you do some work, then yes, you're detaching and you are not living that again. This doesn't mean that you're amazing and you're invincible and the trigger's not going to come back. No, because it may, and it did. So for those around you, and if you tell them that in such a way, they should honor what you are going through. And a lot of the times, because people don't understand, and they won't, because your story is your story. Nobody will understand what you went through because it's you. Only you know you. However, empathy is a good thing. So what I did was, I am now going to walk away because I am feeling triggered. So I automatically walked away what I thought was going to be a blow up fire, which I knew subconsciously wasn't going to happen, but I was feeling triggered. So I moved away and I needed time away to process why I am feeling triggered. And what I did was I walked away, and these are some methods that you can do. Whatever floats your boat. Instead of reacting, you should respond. I am feeling triggered because of, and that's exactly what I did. I walked away, sat on grass, watched the lake, and did some deep breathing because I started finding myself hyperventilating. And that's not a good thing. What is a good thing is that I acknowledged and I understood that this was going on. So I sat, did breath work, and I did it for me because somewhere subconsciously I was being triggered because of the past. Now, what are other things you can do? You can journal, my best friend, right? So I have a trigger book, it is literally called the trigger book, right? It is the trigger book where I write all my triggers. So it's probably my little black book. So a trigger book is a great way to write your stuff. Even flushing it down, I've talked about this before. Writing down on toilet paper and flushing it down the dunny. That's always a really, really good tool I used to do with my son a long time ago. Breath work, walking, exercising, talking to someone, talking to your friends that understand you. Don't talk to people that just don't get it because you're going to get blocked. And that's probably going to cause another trigger. That is for a story of another time. So, surrounding yourself with a support network that can understand where you're coming from and not the whole boohooism. Oh, you poor thing, victim mode. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about taking back your power for something that you think is going to happen, but it won't because only one thing can only happen once, and that's once only. That's called history, right? So I knew subconsciously it wasn't going to happen, yet it happened anyway. The awareness piece is the most important thing. So becoming aware of your feelings, one, it's not a weakness, it's actual power. And what that does is it teaches you healing and growth that is waiting to happen if it hasn't happened already. So I hope this has helped. Let me know if you have been triggered because I know that I'm not alone. On that note, don't forget to share it out to others that you feel this is going to help because triggers are real and they can happen at any point in time. I've just shared with you a couple of tips and tools when you are being triggered. And remember, this can also happen in times of business and how in times when you are being triggered in work mode, business mode, how you can easily detach instead of reacting. You can easily just take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is going on right now? So then you can have a more positive outcome, one that will be a lesson and a learning and growth in your mind, body, soul, business, future. Bye for now.